In this video, I will be ranking all the cars released in 2024, also a little bit in 2023 with the Chop Chop DLC, which released on 23rd of December, and most of the cars with a rolling release were released, in 2024, so that's why I included those as well. But also the Bottom Dollar Bounty DLC released in summer, and then the very recent Agents of Sabotage, which I haven't included all vehicles because some of them aren't released yet. So I will just start and rank them in S, A, B, C, or D tier, according to just, my opinion basically, which can be wrong, quite obviously. First car, I think it's gonna be like a medium kind of pick. It's the Yosemite 1500. It's a decent off-road truck kind of thing, but it's nothing crazy, right? It doesn't do anything nice. It's if you like looking at it, great. It isn't horrible. Like, I've driven it, it's fun to drive, but it's nothing crazy. So I think this is like a solid B tier. Like, it's not S, definitely not S, but it's also not the worst. It's also not A, it's not as cool that it can be A. But I think it's like a good B tier because I like how it looks and it drove relatively well when I drove it. The next car we have is, I think, the Impalo LX or something like that. As you can tell, I don't really remember it, but I've driven it like once or something. It's a boring car. It's, if nothing, competitive in its class or whatever. It's not complete garbage, but I think it's a good C tier, like a good reference for a C tier. And next one is actually also a good reference for another tier, Turismo Omaggio. I think it's a good A tier. It's a good A tier. I have this car for a supercar. It's really fast, really grippy, but its top speed is a bit lacking. So driving wise, it's not as exciting because it tops out way too quick and has a lot of grip. But it's a good car. It just could, all the cars are more exciting. And also you didn't break the class or anything. So it's not really S tier material, but it's definitely A class. It's a very solid car. It can compete within its class. And it's also not too overpriced. Of course, all cars are overpriced nowadays, but it's not too crazy. Then the Paragon S, I'm kind of... okay. It's going to go above the Omaggio, but it's not going to go S tier. It's a really nice car. It has a high top speed. It's way more unruly than the Turismo Omaggio, which makes it more fun to drive. But it's not, game breaking or something. But it's a really nice pick for sports class, right? For sports class, of course, there are faster cars, but this is like one of the faster second tier kind of cars, so perfectly A tier basically. But it's a really nice car to drive. I drive this a lot and I really, really, really like it. And then the next one, it's a pizza boy. It's basically Faggio. I know for memes, I mean, to be honest, I've used it a couple times just for the pizza missions and stuff. It's funny, but it's nothing special, I guess. But it's not the worst. I mean, at least it's funny. And you don't have to buy it. You can also just drive it for the pizza missions. You're not forced to be like, oh no, I have to spend blah, blah, blah. You can just deliver pizza for free, basically. It's great. I'm going to give it a B tier. Because why not? Ooh. Next one is interesting. It's the Chavos V6, just recently released. And this thing is actually for races. Like, depends on the race, of course. It's top of its class in sedans, which is really interesting. It's really grippy. It doesn't have a very high top speed, but its grip is so insane it actually beats a lot of the higher speed cars. It's very similar to the OB Tailgater S, the small one, which also is very grippy. Also is in the top of the class, of the sedans class when it released. But it has a very low top speed, so that's why it didn't dominate the class. I think it's interesting. The car also is a very traffic kind of car. I think they definitely will use this in GTA 6 for just regular traffic. It's a very American kind of traffic car. So just make this thing wide, give it some poverty spec rims. I think... I definitely want to give it A tier, but I don't know if it's S tier. Like, for its class, it's definitely S tier. Because its class is... it's the best in its class. But I'm also just thinking about, general gameplay. Like, it's a okay car to drive, but then again, it's super grippy. And super grippy cars are nice sometimes, but they also get boring really quickly. Like the Turismo Omaggio is like my car in Supers class, but I wish I had like an Amos, which is a little bit faster as well, because it has a high top speed. Yes, of course, it will be a bit more unpredictable, but that makes it fun. It makes the car fun to drive and actually exciting. So I think that's why I will put in A. I want to kind of keep S tier to like something like really special. And then we have the next car, which is the Vapid Dominator. Yeah, this is new Mustang. I think this one together with the Camaro basically took the muscle class quite high. Also the HSW versions. Of course, I play on PC alone, so I don't really play the HSW version very often. I have an Xbox, but I just use it when there is like a HSW version to see if it's worth it. But yeah, I don't know if it's S tier because I've used it. Yes, like when it was released, I used it a lot. But then after that, words I didn't use it that much. Of course, if it's a muscle race, I will consider using it. It's interesting. I don't know what my definition for S tier should be. Because I'm thinking like I'm looking at the list like what should be S tier. Maybe I should actually put this S tier because it was like it's good because like compared to like it's top of its class kind of right. And compared to the shovels, if you use this in freedom, it's actually pretty fun because it has a high speed, so you can travel around the map quite quickly. Its cornering is also quite okay. Like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. And it just looks cool. Like, it's a very cool looking car. So I might actually put this in S tier just because, I'm just looking at the list, like, I have to, like, give something to S tier, right? Otherwise, S tier is just going to be empty. And now, next we have, I think this is a Vapid Dominator GX, FX, or something like that. And it's the police variant. I remember this muscle car. I like it. You can also see the normal variant right there. But the police versions get a downgrade in my book because they're just way too overpriced. You can do some dispatch missions with them. Like, yeah, okay, who cares? Like, but to do some dispatch missions, and you have to pay like what between 2 and 5 million. I think like most of like the expense of the Dominator or like the newer one, the Castigated Terminus, those are like 4 or 5 million depending on trade price. But I think even the cheaper one, the older muscle cars, which first of all is not even that fun of a driving experience if you're just going through the map because they're old muscle cars. They are still like 2 or 3 million, I believe. And just put it in perspective, you buy a Kosatka for 2 million, or like I bought it on sale 1.4 million. Great investment. You can do the Kuiperiko heist. You get access to a whole new island. You can do a heist, which makes you a lot of money. Or you buy a car, which isn't even like a super good car, which has lights and police livery. Great. And then you can do dispatch missions, which pay you like jack shit, basically. So for that reason, like police cars were really like, and this is definitely like one of the worst police cars. I mean, the car itself is pretty nice, but like the police version, same with this next one, old police car, like it's just useless. Bottom dollar bounties van, also like just the variant of like the normal like van in GTA. Now I'm kind of in negative mind space because of the headspace because of the police cars. But then again, yeah, this is nothing special. Like you use it for the thing, like, oh yeah, you have to use it because you have to put the bounties in the back, right? You have to put those people on the back. But yes, yeah, you have to use it. You can't drive your normal car. Kind of takes away that fun. It's not a fun car to drive. It's a slow van. It's nothing special. Talking about slow vans, the next one isn't. It's a minivan. This one is really nice. It's actually it's in the SUVs class, I believe. And it's actually like, I think with HSW, it's like one of the faster ones. Without HSW, it's not the fastest, but it's like a solid mid-tier kind of thing. But it's really fun to drive. And it's a minivan, it looks quite funny. Like, for example, this van right here is just a basic van with some racks on it. Well, great. But this is like a new car. It's the Viviante, I just remember the name. It's like a little Japanese minivan kind of thing. Well, little, it's an American market minivan, but, but I think this is, I'm debating between B and A. I mean, considering it has the HSW variant, which makes it even crazier, I think I'm going to put it like back of A tier. Like not in the front of A tier, but like back of A tier. That seems quite fair. Well, the next one is actually quite funny. It's like the train, which became a drivable, car, not a car, but like drivable kind of vehicle in the game in some missions. Um, I just saw it like on the website I was using for these images, and I was like, oh yes. By the way, shout out to GTAcast.net. Great stock images. But also the stats, which was nice. Yeah, I mean, when they were announcing that the train is going to be drivable, like when we found out at some point, everyone was really excited. But realistically, you drive it in a mission from the dock towards like the tunnel, yeah, that leads out of like it goes in Mirror Park, you know, that kind of tunnel. Um, it's nice, but then again, what was I expecting for driving a train? A train can only go on a track. um, so yeah, fair enough. I mean, nice that we could drive it, even though yeah, it's a train. Like, what was I expecting? To be fair, I did like a video like 2 or 3 years ago at this point, where I was drifting the train, but I was like on a 5M server, I think, because well, then it is like a car, like they just took a car and just made it a train basically. But yeah, for what it is fun. Fun they did it, so I'm gonna give it a B tier, like lower B tier. Seems fair. Next car, the Niobe, sports class car. Yeah, I mean, I heard the HSW version is really nice, but I never really, yeah, like I said, I play on PC, so I didn't really know. But yeah, it's a solid car. It's not like it doesn't break sports class. I think the HSW version does a little bit. I think the HSW version is very fast, yeah. But like from my point of view, like from PC, it's like it's a fast sports car, but it's nothing crazy. Also very grippy, I heard, and it's like based off like the BMW i8, which is yeah, you know, very futuristic looking car from 2014, 2015, I think. I never really liked it that much, like compared to other cars. So I'm gonna give it 8 here. I'm gonna put it here. No disrespect to the Viviante or Viviate or Viviante, I think. But it's a solid car, I think. So I'm just gonna put it here. The next up we have the Terminus police car. See, it's way too expensive. That's the thing. Like, it's not a bad car, right? It's a nice looking like Jeep kind of thing. It's for off-road pursuits. If you roleplay, it's nice, but most people roleplay in 5M anyway, so there they have custom models anyways. But it's alright, I guess, but like I said, it's too expensive. This is not a $5 million car. Like, this is like 2 or 3 million. Well, once again, 2 million something, 2 million something. This thing is twice as expensive, which is outrageous for something which can barely go like 190 kilometers. So I will put it in C tier because it's like one of the more exciting, like kind of police car things. Then the next car, Dorado, like once again, like off-road kind of thing, but it's old and not that wild. So I'm gonna put it like a top of D tier, like in between these kind of things. But once again, I'm not really excited about the way too expensive police cars. Then the next one is the Astro GX or ZX or something like that, which is, you know, just a normal little traffic car. Nothing wrong with it. I think it like in its racing tier, like in the sedans class, probably it was sedans. I think it's pretty mediocre. Yeah, it's not an exciting car. I'm thinking like B tier, like something around here. I think Yosemite is more exciting than it, so I'm gonna put it there. It's not a very memorable car. Like I remembered, I saw it like when making like collecting the images. I was like, oh yeah, that released, and I was like, yeah, I remembered it, but I was like, I'm not really fazed by it. Then we have another very nice D tier candidate, just a slow old police car, which is way too overpriced. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike an old police car, but like they're just too overpriced for what they are in the GTA, which makes them just so useless. And just like realize like 4 million or 5 million, like this one is probably like they'll probably have 3 or 4 million, but like even let's say 3 million, right? To get 3 million, like if you want to make 3 million, you have to do like 3, maybe 4 Kai Pericos, depending on how lucky you get and stuff. Which takes like if you just spent a whole day, yes, you can get it, but you're spending a whole day which you could, use to, I don't know, go outside, touch grass, meet friends, have a social life, study, I don't know, work, have fun in another game, race, I don't know. But instead you're just grinding some mission just to get this car, which gives you more missions, which aren't even that exciting. So it's like, eh, you know. Also, the thing is, not even that, but like if you do all that same effort, you could also buy like a cool car like this plus another little cool car, and it's like it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, like for just some random ass police car. But anyways, let's go to the next car. Oh, this is actually the non-police variant, the of the old Dominator, and I actually like this one. It's not top of its class like performance wise, but it drives nice. Like its handling is, I like this handling. I remember that. But it's not a memorable car. It's not a memorable car. Like I used it a bit, but nowadays, also I'm not racing that much in GTA, to be fair. Also because they removed racing, which was very sucky. But yeah, if racing was still there, it would be like, I think like a high B tier. I'm gonna put it above the Yosemite because it has a little bit more racing potential. Like if you have like a race, you're racing against some people and you're like, okay, these people are not the best players, but they're still not super slow. You can pull out this car and be like, race them a bit, and it makes it a bit more exciting. And it's still a very capable car, but it definitely lacks compared to like the higher tier muscle cars. But it's still a nice driving car, which I like. And then the next car, I looked at this one, I was like, did this release? And I was like, I had to check if this was an release vehicle because I forgot it. But this actually released. It's a Coquette D1, not the D10, but the D1, which is old Corvette, obviously. But yeah, it released. It wasn't a sports classic car, and I was like thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I think it released. But I looked at it. Yeah, it's like for racing, it's I think E tier or something like that. It's like really really slow. It's just I think it's just not worth it. It's very forgettable. Like I forgot about it. It's if you like the look, sure, get it. I'm gonna put it like C tier, because it looks nice. But for the rest, it's just just a car. Nothing too exciting, and also just the fact that I totally forgot about it also says a lot. Then we have the next car, which I remember this one, but I never really used it that much because it's released next to the Baller SCD, which makes this a very, forgettable car. I mean, when I saw it, I remembered that it released, but it's also really slow in the SUVs class. I think it gets like a 1 minute 12 lap time on Buffy's testing, which is not good. Like the top SUVs are 103, 104 nowadays. And yeah, like, is it? Nah, it's not. I don't think it's a beat. Like, it looks cool if you want to, like, have that look. But I think a lot of other cars released also had better looks. So I'm gonna put it here just because it has a certain look, like big SUV. But like, there's so many other big SUVs which released this year, which just do that cooler. Like you can make it black and be like, oh, it looks cool. But then you get like, you will see in a second the other cars we have in this tier list. They just look way cooler. So why would you spend your money on this one, which is also really slow? Then we have the next police car here. It's the Stanier LE Cruiser, which is just a regular police car. Like I said, once again, nothing really too exciting. I'm gonna give it like, like here, it's a normal regular ass car, and it has some lights on it and a police livery. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna go on the rant again. It's just a police car. Next car is the Vigero ZX convertible, not the Vigero ZX, which released like DLC before this, because this is the Chop Chop DLC, and then the one before that, so in 2023 summer, the Vigero ZX release, which was at the time like I think the new fastest, or like was like the HSW version was definitely fastest, but it was like I think like a little bit faster, like on the same pace as the Buffalo STX. But yeah, this is a convertible version. Like normally I would put it like alongside the Mustang because they're about the same pace, they're basically same car, just different brand. But because it's just the convertible version, which okay, nice, you have that option, but like if you already bought the VGR ZX, buying this one doesn't add anything, so there's not really a reason to buy it. So I'm gonna put it like end of A tier. just for the fact that it's a good car, obviously, but it just didn't bring anything very new to the table. Like, nice, but nothing S tier worthy, like also in impact wise. The next car, however, I really like. The FR36. In drift, you can make it a drift car, which is nice. But more importantly, in the coupes class, this is actually like a very competitive car. And I think I have to give it the same as the Shalvos treatment. Because I was gonna say S tier, but like it's S tier in its class. But if you, the Shalvos is also S tier in its class. But like I said, like for general gameplay, it isn't. It's a bit cooler than the Shalvos because it looks a bit cooler. But yeah, I can't justify putting it in an S class. That's true. But yeah, very solid car, definitely. And for coupes races, also very, very solid. Yeah, so the next car is the Terminus, which is a fast off-road car, but there are still faster off-road cars. But some people definitely find it a cool looking car. It's also like a very imposing big car. So for that reason, I think I will give it A tier. It's not S tier because it's not the fastest in the class. It doesn't, bring anything very exciting to the game. And it looks cool, but it's, I think, like an A tier kind of thing, like here. Seems solid, but it's not S tier. The next car is the fastest SUV, although it's a very small SUV. Like they released like this. A lot of people were mad they didn't release like a Trackhawk or something, which I agree with. This is like a very whack little SUV, the Castigator. HSW version also exists, which is cool and all, but like even HSW version doesn't bring much. But like I said, it's like these ones, right? It's like S tier in the respective class. But overall, gameplay-wise, it doesn't bring it much. But I'm actually going to put it behind these two because I just don't like the look of it. For the SUV, it's really, really trash. Like, especially compared to, like, the SUVs that are going to come after this. It was ridiculous they made this fast as well, basically. But yeah, it's definitely still a solid car, so I'm going to give it A tier still. The next car, however, probably have to give it a bit lower tier. This is the Euros X32. Cool car, coupes class. I think was like semi-competitive, but not top of the class. It's a cool looking car, so I'm gonna give it like B tier. Like, it drove a little bit less nice than the Dominator right here. So that's why I'm gonna put it right behind it. But it's a cool looking car. Like if you're into JDM, obviously you're gonna wanna buy it. It's a solid car, but like B tier solid. Next car is really cool. It's like basically a Cadillac, the big SUV. And this is what I meant with like, if you want an SUV, you're not gonna buy this one. You're not gonna buy this one. You're gonna buy like a big SUV, right? You're gonna buy a big SUV, you're gonna black it out, and you're gonna pretend to be like a cool little gangster or something, or whatever you want to do. Because this is a cool looking car. It looks angry, it looks mean, it's big, it's imposing, it looks good in black. All you want from SUV. However, performance-wise, I think it wasn't all that. So I'm gonna put it like, I'm gonna put it here. It's cooler than this one. Although performance-wise, this one is better, but it's a cool, solid coupe. Like very nice. It's just very cool. The next one, however, Baller SCD. The first time they released the Baller, which looked a bit different than the other Ballers, because there's like a lot of Ballers in the game. This one is a very modern, like Range Rover looking one, and I actually liked it. It looks really cool. You can black it out, really nice, and it actually performs really well. It isn't as high performance as a Castigator, but it's still like really nice. Nice top speed, nice handling. Actually, I was surprised it was as good as it was, and it just looks really cool. I remember like using this for a while when it released. So I think I'm actually gonna put it like right here, like top of A class, next to the Paragon. Very solid car, looks very cool. Like I would recommend buying it if you have some spare cash laying around. But yeah, the next one is the tow truck. It's the Rusty one. Yeah, if you want to do like tow truck missions, I think you had to buy this one for the Chop Chop. Yeah, I mean, cool. Solid one. I'm gonna put this end of B tier actually because I want to put the normal one on C tier because this one is 650k and this one is 1.1 million, and they perform the same. They have the same performance. It's just that this one looks nicer. So actually, I'm gonna put the Rusty one above because it just way more price efficient. Next up we have the Dorado. We already had the Dorado here, police truck in D class or D tier. This I remember having released. I made a video with it, and I actually liked it. I think it's like similar to the Yosemite. Yeah, similar to the Yosemite. It's a nice car, but like performance-wise, it's nothing special. Drives nice enough. It's okay, and that's what B tier is. It's okay. It's good. It's nothing special, right? You can't really complain about it, but there's also nothing to write home about, and that's just where it sits. Perfect. Next up, we have the Jester RR wide body, which I gonna put straight in D tier because it's useless. It's more expensive than normal Jester RR, so it's like 2.4 million or something like that. It is a little bit faster, I think, but it doesn't bring it into a competitive range in the sports class. Its top speed, I think, was top speed on normal. I think lower than a normal Jester though. It just has more grip because it's wide body. It has like almost no customization, so it's absolutely useless. And like, okay, these are like 4 or 5 million, but it's also just a scam. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it there. It's definitely D-class material. But however, the next one, Vorschlag Hammer. This might actually be controversial take. I actually like this one. Like performance-wise, I think in the dance class it's like B tier or something. Driving-wise, it's actually quite nice. It's a bit more slidey than normal GTA cars, which is nice. And it just has like, it's a really cool car. I'm tempted to put it in S-Class. But I have to stick to like, S-Class also needs a bit more performance and zest. And this is like top of A-Class. I just liked it. It's just a really cool car. So that seems very solid. But like, I was tempted S-Class, but it's very personal preference. And Impaler, as said, looks like a boring car, but actually drives really nicely. Like I did a video with this, like driving in Vinewood, and it's really, really nice. I'm tempted to put it there. I'm gonna put it like here. Like it's really nice. It's just the performance is like very, mid-high, like tier-wise, but it's really nice. It drives really nice. So I might be biased. This one's straight to S. New Viper, incredible top speed, even like on PC, like 138 miles per hour, new fastest car. Like by half a mile per hour from the Weevil and like 2 miles per hour faster than the Pariah. HSW also makes it incredibly fast. And it just looks cool. Has good amount of customization. Great car. Great car. We're gonna talk too much. It's just S-Class. Next one, I think this is the Impaler, but then the police version. Yeah, okay, Impaler gonna get a little bit of goodie. Can I put it? Okay, yeah. But still a police car, so once again. Next is the, I think it's called Envisage or something. Like basically Hyundai Vision N or something. Electric car, it's alright. Feels cool to drive sometimes, but if you drive it longer, you would notice its handling is a bit weird. But it's a cool car. I think it's like, I think it deserves A-class. I'm gonna put it here. It's still A, I think. It's definitely has something to it, but not quite high A. But also not B. No. Then we have like some of the newer police cars. We have the Caracara. Yeah, basically the Ford F-150 pickup police car. I think this is like with the Terminus. It's like a newer one, kind of cool, but like once again way too expensive. Then we have the Pipistrello, which I admittedly never bought because, well, it looks ugly, and I think performance was alright, but it wasn't class breaking alright. So I think this is also like, should be A tier, but like personally, like I don't really like it. So maybe actually for the looks, I'm gonna give it B tier, just because it looks goofy. And then we have the Gauntlet. Yeah, police car once again. Probably one of the cooler police cars. I think the Coquette D10 is going to take its throne once it releases, like for being the coolest. But yeah, once again, still police car, and a bit useless, especially for the price point. I think when the release was like 4.5 million. That might even be the trade price. So yeah, in the end, not worth it, I think. So yeah, but this was basically the tier list. As you can see, A-class. I mean, a lot of A tier. 2 S tiers, which is nice. But yeah, a lot of A tiers. Some B tiers, which alright, but these are like really boring vehicles. You can see like these are exciting vehicles. There's some boring vehicles. And C-Class, a little boring. I must say, like, a lot of C&D is filled with police cars. So if you really enjoy the police cars and you don't really care about money, then actually this year has ranked quite high. As you can see, like the average is kind of like around here, which is quite good actually. Yeah, and if you remove the police cars and like rank them higher, then actually not too bad of a year. Also a lot of new like high ranking vehicles and classes. But it's also fun because like these vehicles don't destroy the class completely. Like the shovels just barely gets the top spot. And all the cars are still competitive, even on normal tracks. And also depending on the track, this can become slower than another car, and it's still competitive. The Castigator, I think, also wasn't too ridiculous. Although some of the HSW versions did do that. But if you play on PC, it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, I mean, seems very solid. 40 falls, which is, no. Although this were 3 DLCs, technically, because I included the last one of 2023. Just because most of them released in 2024. But then again, I didn't include the unreleased cars yet. But yeah, if you want to see another tier list or have any comments about it, or what would you rank S tier if you have a comment about that, just comment down below. And see you in the next video, I guess. So, bye-bye. Bye-bye is crazy. So I will see you... Dude, what